hope you guys are having a wonderful day, making some really good trades as per usual. And again, today was actually a nice little bounce back day in the markets here on the SPY. Again, that's I had a kind of a hunch that the markets were gonna kind of rally back up here. Lots of fear on Friday, selling into the close. And yeah, I mean, like I took profits on a lot of my shorts. I'm still holding a couple. But overall, the markets bounced back, big relief rally off the lows, massive euphoria, and then we were kind of chopping out throughout the day. So what's coming up next, right? Is this a 1-2? We're going to new all-time highs. What's going on, right? So let's take a look at the Nasdaq here on the daily time frame. And again, it's not good. We cut into red money flow. It's not This is not a bullish sign for the markets, right? Big loss of momentum. 4-hour time frame, you're in red money flow, right? Don't get me wrong, you are in red money flow. This is like a counter trend rally now. And you got a red dot confirmation here. You're still red money flow. The momentum is curling back down. You could easily start selling back off in the next couple of days. And if CPI is hotter than expected, then you're gonna get a big sell off, and that's on Wednesday. So if it comes in better than expected, then hey, like you're gonna get a big rally, probably back to all time highs, but could also signal recession. Like what's the market more scared of right now? Like rate, like recession or inflation? It's probably the recession fears that are hitting hard at the moment. And the Fed's going to be making their decision next week on Wednesday about how much they're going to cut. The majority of the anticipation is that they're going to be cutting 25 basis points. So we'll see. And then in terms of taking a look at oil's been dropping pretty hard too. I'm actually looking for a bounce back in oil here, and then a further drop down again in the third wave. But it could go sideways and then just drop, right, for a final fifth wave, for third wave completion, and then a bigger rally maybe, or even more sideways action, and then another leg down again. So we'll see how this is going to play out. I've been mapping this out for a very long time here. The oil short was at 84. Now we're at 69. Again, these levels hit, and then it was 1-2s from there on. And you hit some nice levels too on this upsloping trend line, and this is what I've been expecting for oil, for people who've been following me for a very long time. I've been talking about the oil shorts, and then the yields to go lower as well. Very similar count, lots of 1-2 setups. Wave 4 probably going to be probably some consolidation, sideways price action in the yields, and maybe then another drop again. But who knows? Maybe we truncate, and this pivot here marks the low, and anything here is just a viable dip. And I mean, maybe shorting bonds, and then yields are going to surge. I mean, that would be terrible for the markets if that happens. But I can only imagine if that what would happen to the markets in that scenario. But yeah, and we've been talking about the carry trade for a very long time too. Well, actually, not that long, I should say. I wouldn't say very long, but probably in recent events we've been tracking a little bit more closely, and the yen strengthening is definitely putting pressure on the market. So if this pair goes down, that means the yen is strengthening a lot. That's putting pressure on the U.S. markets, U.S. equities, and you're going to see more downside. I've been talking about these big cap tech names like Apple. Apple was actually holding up quite well today. Entire dip got bought out. I got stopped out on some of my more risky put options here, and we'll see how the rest of the week plays out. And then let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla also stopped me out last week. Very unfortunate. Big red candle right after, and then I would have been in the money on my short if I held. But hey, when you have a system, you have to follow it. And for me, now the next level is probably going to be a short at 248 for Tesla. So I'm just going to be patient and wait. But ultimately, Tesla should be going lower. And then we could talk about a few other names. Let's take a look at NVDA. So NVIDIA bounced back today as well, up 3%, holding up inside bar price action now. Let's see if this is gonna mark a low. Let me take a look to see if smart money is starting to pile in to NVIDIA yet. That'd be interesting, right? Well, no, we're not. They're not piling in, but we are getting some green crosses. Could be a sign that smart money is trying to long this, and NVIDIA could easily get a pop up tomorrow. It's kind of set up like that too. You know, nice rounding bottom, and I kind of like this setup for NVIDIA to maybe go higher. But again, I'm not really trying to long the semis. I shorted the semis when we were up here. The semis dropped. I closed my short. And that's about it, right? I'm not gonna long in something I don't really believe in right now. But again, you could make a nice chunk of change longing it for sure. And it could just be a counter trend rally for us to go lower later on. So again, it could just be careful. It could be another three-wave move and something like this. So we'll know more if you see three waves here and no divergence on like the 45-minute. Then you'll know that you're inside of this counter trend rally, and it should be going lower after that. All right, let's take a look at a few other things. Another reason why I don't think this is a 1-2. So people are probably saying, "Oh, this is a easy 1-2 setup." You have nice divergence at the low here, so that tells me this is not a three-wave move. This is a five-wave move down. Now you need three waves up, and you need another five-wave move down after that, ending with no divergence on the larger time frames, probably on the daily or the 4 hour or something like that. You're gonna erase divergence. Probably on the daily, I would say you're gonna erase divergence. You're gonna get a big capitulation event. So yeah, you're gonna get a nice little counter trend rally here. Again, nothing goes down in a straight line. I said this on Friday too. You just gotta be patient with it. Really, you just gotta be patient and wait for things to play out. Let's take a look at PayPal. PayPal is coming back down, so we want PayPal to come down. PayPal should be pulling back here in a 1-2, and it should be a viable dip, right? You should apparently this according to my chart, this should be a viable dip. We should see three waves down with ending with no divergence, probably on the 4 hour, and then you should be set for a long position. Could the low already be in? Yeah, it could be a shallow too, but for me, I'd like to see a bigger move down, maybe even back down to 66 or maybe even 62, and then you dip by there, and you should rally from there on. Crypto is getting a nice bid, so let's talk about Mara, right? So Mara got a nice leg down here inside of this C leg, and you drop pretty significantly in Mara. Now you're getting a nice one, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you should be finished. Probably a big capitulation event is going to happen in crypto for it to cause this big sell-off in Mara. And we'll take a look at Bitcoin very quickly. We don't always cover Bitcoin on this channel, but yeah, I'd say that maybe the B could be in here, and you're getting ready for a C leg down. This would be a disaster for crypto if this happens. If this happens, then be careful. Be careful, guys. You don't want to be longing and FOMOing into this rally here. Oh yeah, I mean look at that. Look at that. It just ended like that. No divergence. Yeah, this looks like it's finished. This looks like it's done now. And it's getting ready for a big leg down. I might close some of my long. I have a few crypto longs right now that are in the money, but I don't think I'm gonna get too greedy with them. I think I'm just gonna cash out after this video. Unless it just sells off and I don't get the chance. But let's take a look at TLT here. So TLT, people who've been following me, we could have, there's lots of talk that the fifth wave is in, like this larger fifth wave that we've been tracking is in. And I mean, it could be, but for me at least, I'd like to see more upside in TLT, which means more downside in yields. But you got a big wave 3 right here, right? And that kind of took a lot of energy for it to do that. And for us to extend these wave 3s, we're probably gonna have to erase this divergence, or sorry, this RSI here. But you could just continue up and build 5s and finish it 4s and 5s. But we'll take it slow. we'll take it slow. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, and people are like, oh my god, it's it's not gonna go up. I'm still in my position, and it's very easy for me to say that I'm always in my position because when I was telling people to buy, we were down here at 87, 88, 90. We're in this area here, and I said, yeah, it's a buy. It's a buy, and it's now that TLT has rallied, pretty significantly, or TMF. People are like, okay, I'm ready to long now. You got to just be patient and sit on your hands and wait for this trade. Like if you want a big trade for your portfolio, these are the types of trades I would take throughout the year, right? 136 days, 43%. It's a slow moving asset, but it's that you get the trend correctly, right? You nail the trend, and I think the trend's gonna end somewhere in this area for TMF. All right, let me talk about the markets here a little bit more. So as for the SPY, I do see the SPY making a new all-time high, but I'm not so sure if we come back down to this level first, or if we just do a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So for me, there's no real trade in the indices at the moment. It's a tough trade to have. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, right? If that happens, if this just takes off right away and rate cuts and pivot and good inflation, then I'm not going to get in the way of it, right? I closed my short on the Qs in profit, and it wasn't too much of a profit because I had a bad entry, but I took that opportunity, and if the markets want to go crazy and rally, then let them rally, right? Don't get in the way of it, right? If it's gonna go in a big massive pump, then let it pump, and just don't get in the way of it, because once this fifth wave ends, once this completes, then fine, that's great. Now it's done, and we're gonna be ready for a big market correction here, and it's gonna pull us down throughout the probably rest of the year, or maybe early on 2025. It continues, and we get back to these lows here, back at 294. So that'd be crazy, but we'll see. All right, let me talk about. Let me see. I'll talk about AMD too, right? AMD. I closed my short on AMD, and I think we're probably due for a bit of a bounce here. We've been bleeding lower, and I think it needs a bit of a counter trend rally. So I think the semis are gotten beat up a little bit too much, and they're kind of out of favor. Lots of shorts are starting to pile into them, so I think we need to squeeze it a little bit, and then it'll be setting up for another great short opportunity. But let's take a look at the SMH on Market Cipher, right? SMH, the semis are strong. There's nothing wrong. Or sorry, the semis are strong. There's nothing wrong. The semis fail. You better bail. Right now, the semis are definitely weak, but there's the drop is starting to slow down here a little bit. So if you pop back up, it's going to be a great shorting opportunity. But trying to dip buy here I'm not really as interested, because you want to go with the trend, and the trend right now is towards the downside. Same goes for a lot of these stocks, right? A lot of stocks right now, the trend is towards the downside. They're going to be great dip buys, but later on, when you get a big capitulation event. I actually want to talk about Google. Google, excuse me, is one that I'm quite interested. If it gets down to 130 again, some people think that it may never get down here, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at things that happen in this market. You may not get down here right away, but when you do get down here, it's like, damn, I wish I waited, or I wish, I wish I never bought up here or higher. But again, it's okay if you do, because if you have more dry powder on the sidelines, you could always add to positions, especially at the lower levels. You could always double down for more, and then after this, you should see a pretty significant rally here. You should maybe even get back, if you go down to 130, you maybe even get back up to the 170s or even the 180s before a big capitulation event. All right, let's talk about DXY, right? The dollar. I think the dollar needs to go up higher. I think the dollar needs to get into this area before we see more downside in the US dollar. So once this happens, maybe that's the time to get out, and you're going to see the dollar come back down again, and then the USD JPY pair starts to unravel once more, and then you see a big break, and that's when the capitulation happens. So I mean, we wouldn't be too far away from it, but we're a couple days away from CPI, so you don't know what's gonna happen. Wow, let me take a look at Roku. Yeah, it hasn't moved. It hasn't moved, and I have beef with Roku. So I don't like that stock. And yeah, I think that's about it. I don't really have any other stocks to take a look at. Oh, maybe Apple. Oh no, we already took a look at Apple. The chart hasn't changed. Nothing has really changed. Do I have a chart on Meta? Meta should be coming back down into the 420 area. It's $80 away. It needs to make a big journey. Oil, gold, and silver. So commodities are kind of chopping here at the highs, just chopping about, not doing much. So I, silver is holding this level here for now, but it really needs to make a move sooner than later, and it could get this move up if the dollar were to break down. But again, I said, like, if the dollar starts breaking down, maybe the markets are breaking down too, and maybe silver doesn't start to rally because the dollar is going down. We've seen silver go down as well the same day that the dollar is going down. So sometimes it's not always one to one. Big panic sell events, silver and gold do sell off at the same time. And let me take a look at the VIX. Let's see where the VIX is at. The VIX is getting above the 20 level. So again, volatility is very high. You got this big surge on Tuesday, September 3, and we've just been at the highs here for quite a bit of time. But if it starts to come back down, then you're going to see a big rally in the market as volatility dies off, and people feel very comfortable getting back into risk assets, going crazy, buying everything. Anyways, I don't really have much to update you guys. The chart hasn't really changed, but you guys know where I'm at, like where I am. I'm mostly cash now after taking lots of profits, and I'm going to be getting ready for either a big long position or a big short position if we get to one of these extremities, right? So if the SPY dumps down, I'm going to be dip buying here while everyone's panicking, getting out, thinking the crash is starting. I believe that this is going to be setting up for a big bigger WXY for a bigger wave 4, and then we're going to get a final hoorah rally in the S&P. The Qs is a different story. The Qs would capitulate down to here at 410, 405, and you could dip by it too, but I don't think we're going to make a new high. I actually agree with most analysts that the Qs have probably topped here. And if it does take out the high, then shit, like, I was wrong, and we're just gonna go up forever. But I don't think so. Anyways, have a good night, guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.